Chanuch, I don't know if we mentioned already, is a very fabulous and famous book that was written. We actually don't know who wrote it, which is weird. We always know who writes Jewish books. We always know who writes Jewish books. We know everything about them. Here we don't know who it is. We know that he was a Levi. We know that he lived in Spain, in the city of Barcelona. And we know that he was a Rishon. He lived in the 1300s. And we also know that he had a son who kept asking him for the reasons behind the mitzvot. And he was about to become bar mitzvah. So the story is that he wrote this book as a gift to his son for the reasons behind all the mitzvot. So he's doing exactly what, right, the Rambam was saying, yeah? Finding a rationale. And he divided this book into 613 parts. And while he's going through this book, he did it according to the parsha. So Bereshit, 2 or 3 mitzvot. Right? Noach, 1. Right? Lech Lecha, and he goes through and you get to Vayikra, it's like jam-packed. And Devarim, packed full of mitzvot. So that's the way this book was divided up. According to the parsha, and every parsha he gives the reason, but then he gives what he calls the shoresh mitzvah, the rationale, the reason behind it. Got it? Okay. While he's investigating mitzvah number 16, he stops and he says, and thereby this is a very, very famous concept. You're going to hear quoted a lot, so I want you to get it here now today. He stops and he says, before I discuss this mitzvah, he says, I want to know a general principle of human characteristics. And let's just do it inside. And he says, Ki hadam nifal kefi polatav. You should know that before I describe the mitzvah, I'm not going to tell you what the mitzvah is, by the way, between you and me. I'm going to ask you later on what you think mitzvah number 16 in the Torah, it's chronological, or not chronological time-wise, but chronological in the Torah, right? What mitzvah actually is chronological in the Torah actually is. But I'm not going to tell you right now. But he's going to mention this very, very famous, and I would highlight the following words because they most likely appear in your midterm. Adam nifal kefi pa'ulatav. People, all people, are influenced by their actions. People are influenced by their actions. This may not sound like such a crazy concept. What does it even mean? Well, usually we think people are influenced by their mind. Right? You talk to a person and they're upset, depressed, need therapy, need help, need guidance, or upset. You talk to them and they'll feel better. He's like, no. You are influenced. It's the other way around. Your mind doesn't influence who you are. What you do influences your mind. People's character traits and feelings and emotions are, but this is very, in present day psychology has become very, very popular. There's actually a documentary, I can't remember what it was about some celebrity, right, who went to actually a Jewish therapist, of course, and discovered this idea that actions influence your mind more than your mind influences your actions. It's a very revolutionary idea. He says, V'libo, your heart, which means your emotions, v'chol machshavotav, and all your thoughts, tamid, always, achar ma'asav, are going to follow you. What you do with your body is going to influence your mind, your character, your personality. Shihu oseh behen, that you do with them. He's going to go a little bit deeper now. So stick with me, my friends. Im tov, whether those actions are good, v'imra, or those actions are bad. Good actions are going to make you into a better person. Bad actions are going to make you into a worse person. And he says like this, he's going to double down on this. Vafilu, let's say you have Rasha Gamor, a very evil, nasty person. Right? Remember that kid in school who was just always nasty and mean and horrible? Just like a real horrible personality. Couldn't stand to be around them. Maybe you're among us today. I don't think so. Bilvavo, in their heart. Just someone who's not nice. Just got a mean personality. Remember that guy or that girl? All their thoughts and all their personality, maybe they were born this way. He doesn't limit it to being born this way. Maybe they were nurtured this way. Maybe they were abused. But they became nasty and mean. It could be. The libo, in their heart and thoughts, and yetzerah, Rak ra kolim. This one think about how can I do bad to other people? How can I cheat? How can I hurt? How can I hurt people, as the expression goes. That's what they want to do. Let's say this person, he says, Im yareh rucha, this person's spirit starts to awaken, which is a fancy way of saying they want to improve themselves, they want to become better. Right? For whatever reason, they reach rock bottom and they want to become better. V'yaseh mishtadloton, they start to put their actions, vaskor, and their b'hatmadot, b'torah mitzvot, to improve themselves, learn Torah, do mitzvot, just do better things. V'afilu, and by the way, when they do this, they start to give tzedakah, for example. Shalom Hashem Shemaim, they don't even do it for the right motivation. They do it because they want notoriety. They want honor. Miyad, straight away, yinatel atov, they start to become better people. Even though they haven't changed their mind. They're still the same person. They're still the same mean old Sally or Dave. It makes no difference. If they start to do good actions, they're actually on the way to becoming a better person. But they haven't changed their essence, because their actions will change their essence. The koach ma'asav, and the power of their actions, yamit, will kill hayetzara, their evil inclination. Why? Ki acharei polot nimshachen alevavot, because after your heart is dragged, nimshach literally means to drag, by your actions. Your actions impact you, make you become a better person. If you just putting a little coin in the pushka, as we make our kids do, in the tzedakah box, makes you a better person. Just the actions you do with your body. By the way, this is going to be an explanation as to why all the mitzvot except 6 involve an action. You've got to do something. You got to eat something, you got to hear something, you got to wear something, you got to go somewhere. You always involve an action, he says. Okay? And then he flips the script completely and he says like this. This is a classic piece of Torah. V'yafilu imayat tzadi adam tzadik gamor. You know that kid in your class who was like a goody two-shoes? Yes, teacher, no teacher, no, always nice and nice to, right? And always like goody two-shoes. And but you can look back in your life, you can't do it yet, you're probably too young. And you look at this person became the worst person ever. Why? And didn't get their life together and just became a drug addict bum, and just life fell apart. I said, but they were so why? He says, I'll tell you why. Because they were tzaddik gamor, yashar, straight, v'tamim, and simple. And they wanted Torah mitzvah, they wanted to do good. But imulay yasok v'tamid devarim, but they started getting involved in actions that were not good. Shel dofi. And he says, started to hang around with the wrong people who led them in the wrong path. Yeshuv lizmam and izmam, you'll see very quickly, they're going to go from righteousness, liot rashakam, become an evil person. Even though they were born, some people are just born nice. That's their natural being, their essence. Right? Kids just come out differently. I don't care what anyone tells you, I'm telling you. There is a thing as nature. Right? Bliana, I've got 5 kids. And from hour 1, we could tell their personality for the rest of their lives. One came out screaming, she's still screaming. One came out quiet, still quiet. It's just the way it is. Actually, one came out very, very nice and then turned into a complete nut job. Right? But Baruch Hashem, she's Israel right now. We love her. Okay, fine. Everyone's different. Right? But it doesn't go with your... You can't say, I'm born this way. You can't say that. Because it doesn't come down to who you are. It comes down to what you do. Because what you do creates who you are. That's the idea. It comes down to your actions. Ki yadua, and for some reason he's taken it as a given. Hadavar ve'emet, and it's true. Shekol adam nifal kfiyot, that people are influenced by their actions. So he's basically taken a detour while describing a mitzvah. What mitzvah, my dear and holy sisters, do you think the chinuch is actually a group of mitzvot he's about to dive into that he felt he had to give this preamble? He actually does this preamble twice, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure at least twice, maybe more. He does his little preamble. Does anyone know where you would be by the time you get to mitzvah 16 in the Torah? Where do you think you are? Okay, I'll tell you. We're about to leave Egypt. I'm about to get all the mitzvot of Pesach. And Pesach is a lot of mitzvah. You've got to clean the house of chametz. and you got to make matzah, and you got to kosot, all right, and you got to read the Haggadah, right, and you got to click, and it's a lot of work. So he preambles and says, OMG. Before you end up doing all of that, let me tell you that doing all these actions is going to drive you crazy. And why can't you just think and remember, I left Egypt, my ancestors left Egypt, thanks God? Because you need actions to remember. So this is a little preamble, right, before he gets to, the Korban Pesach, as he used to have in those days as well, which took time and effort and money and energy, right? He's like, that's why. That's why. Because you're about to go and do a lot of physical actions. You're like, oh my God, got to clean the whole house. Oh my God. He's like, yeah. He also does it, if I remember correctly, Erev Sukkot mitzvot. You got the Daled Minim, you're leaving a house, sitting in the Sukkah, to remember God saving us from Egypt and giving us clouds of glory and sitting in tents. And it's like, I know you're about to do a lot of mitzvot right now, but you should know that these mitzvot are going to impact you a lot. The actions themselves are going to impact you a